This is the companion figure to the James Bond Dr. No figure that just came out. This is the title character of the film, Dr. No himself, or as it says on the plaque, Dr. Julius No. Dr. No is definitely not my favorite James Bond film. It's set to uh, created a lot of the elements that would be used later, but it's also missing a lot of the elements. And it does have kind of a cheapness to it. It's elevated quite a bit, I would say, by Sean Connery himself, and I don't know that the series would ever have taken off were it not for Sean Connery. But it does have some issues. One of the issues is that the uh, the main villain, Doctor No, only appears well into the film near the end, and arguably only has one major scene in the entire film. Um, then I can certainly see people saying, well, it's building up to the reveal, but I think that history's kind of said that this may not have been the best thing to do since I cannot recall another villain in any James Bond film being used so little. And I think that Dr. No really was a great character. And Joseph Weissman did a fantastic job of playing Dr. No. But you don't see him until very close to the end. The moment I got this figure, the moment I opened it, I was really impressed by that sculpt. That is an uncanny resemblance to Dr. No. From every angle, you can see just how amazing it looks. Now, Joseph Weissman, the character of Dr. No is supposedly half Chinese, half Caucasian, but to achieve this look, they used makeup and some prosthetics. So this is not how Joseph Weissman actually looks. I think this is a pretty good job, actually, at least in the film and here in the figure, of achieving the look that they wanted. It's certainly much better than the really unfortunate makeup job on Sean Connery, James Bond in You Only Live Twice, where he looks not Asian at all. But I think they did a really good job of making him look um, biracial, despite the fact that Joseph Weissman is not. Um, so beyond the facial sculpt, which I would say may be the best of any of the um, Big Chief Studio James Bond figures, and is one of the best I've ever seen on a 1/6 scale figure. Then we have his Nehru Jacket, and the Nehru Jacket it's a very simple design, but they really nailed it. I think they got just about everything perfect. I'm not going to open it up, but it's held by Velcro, and there's nothing underneath. So if I did this, you'd see his the figure's bare flesh underneath, or plastic, or whatever. So in the film, you can see just a hint of cuff, and such is the case here. There's his prosthetic arms, or hands, not arms, but hands. A little bit, a hint of a collar, white under his collar. It really feels nice, and it is removable. And I was actually kind of impressed with. I've never been that impressed with the figures, the Big Chief Studio figures, but for the bodies themselves. But this has a nice butterfly joint in it, and joints are a little stiff, but it's pretty good. Now, this is a little weird. So the gloves here actually are in two separate pieces. You could see there, and I assume that's because it's a probably a repurposed figure, or it's simply the design, because it wouldn't be like that in the movie. So it's kind of given the impression of a solid piece there, but it actually is two pieces, and it will allow the wrist to move somewhat. The pants are nicely tailored. They feel really good. Cuffs. The shoes are not removable. I wish they were. I think that would be pretty cool, but they are not. The socks are not removable. And in fact, the socks, I don't know if you can see, but the socks actually end right where they meet the shoe, the loafers. So, it would be cool if they were separate socks and separate shoes and they could slide on, but it's not going to happen. The Just like with the James Bond figure, the ankles are terrible. They are so weak. The figure cannot stand without a brace. They also would. Here, I'll show you. They could. Ah, they turn 360 degrees. The only thing that might stop them is the fact that these socks, they are kind of twisting the socks around when they turn around. But Big Chief Studio is terrible when it comes to feet. So I wrote a review on Amazon and I said that everything above the ankles is just about perfect, and the shoes are not. The loafers, they look pretty good here, but it is all one solid plastic mold. Not really that impressive. I don't know. They got, yeah, I mean, they look pretty good on the bottom. It looks a little dirty, but shoes would be dirty if they were. I think that's I haven't been rubbing it against dirt, so I think that's the way it came. So overall, this is probably the nicest Big Chief Studio James Bond figure of any of them. And I own every single one except Solitaire. The only reason I didn't get Solitaire was because from the promotional pics, I did not like the face. She has a dead-eyed stare to her. This one looks really amazing. I have to give them high marks for this one. It is, after I got the figure, I sat down, I watched the film, rewatched it, and that's about perfect. Everything about this, from the Nehru jacket, from the coloring of the jacket, I cannot think of anything on here that is not film accurate. I'm not in love with use of Velcro. I'm not sure what else I would have used if it were not Velcro. Velcro can lose its strength over time, but if you never open it up, I think it should be fine. So I'll just pose him in a neutral pose, and there he will sit forever. But I think that anyone looking at my collection, this one would be really particularly eye-catching. So later on, I'll show some of my other villains, including Goldfinger, Oddjob, and Baron Samedi. But I'll give them high marks. This one's I think is a 5-star figure. Really pretty amazing.